Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Ellen Quaadgras, serving in co-leadership here at South Church with Kirsten Hunter and living into shared ministry with all of you, healing our spirits as together we help inspire healing in the world around us. I want to welcome everyone online and in the sanctuary to this special place where all are welcome. Whoever you are, whoever you love, whatever your beliefs are right now, you are welcome here. Christian, Buddhist, humanist, atheist, Jewish, pagan, Muslim, Baha'i, Hindu, beliefs drawn from many sources that may have no particular label, all are welcome to join us on this path of discovery, deepening connection and growth. We gather this morning on the land of the Abenaki and Pennacook nations, people who, like countless native tribes across the country, did not willingly cede this land they tended for generations, and who are still here, living, being, doing, and also many working for justice for their people and justice for the earth. May we, as Unitarian Universalists, be present to that history, present to all people seeking justice, and present to our call to care for the earth and care for all others, especially those who've been marginalized in history. Our theme this month is the practice of presence, and our topic today is Joy No Matter What, the sequel. Some of you may recall that the topic right before the election was Joy No Matter What, a sentiment that after that pivotal day feels a little different. What does it look like to return to joy again and again, even in the face of its looming opposite? Full transparency, in this service about joy, we will be talking about processing grief this morning as well. And if that is not something that your spirit has the space for and you need to slip out at some point, always take care of yourself. Go with our blessing. You will notice that the latest decathlon card is available, but also today, in your order of service, we have a special card that we've included for you, an opportunity to share a practice of joy no matter what, a chance to reflect for yourself or to inspire another. There will be some time later in the service to write something on the card about a time when you practiced bringing presence to something difficult and found, perhaps to your surprise, that it also opened you to more joy. Some of you have already shared some beautiful stories with me from my invitation in the newsletters, and we'll post those downstairs later after the service. I'm grateful to be offering this service with Mitch Pivor, our worship associate, Jonny Peiffer and the choir, and Jen Leyden and Susan Adams serenading us with music. Jen Leyden and Ben Abbott making this service available all over the world through technology. Kirsten Hunter offering our time for all ages, after which our young ones are invited downstairs for some religious education. Parents, please sign your child in if you have not already. After the service, all are invited for coffee, treats, and fellowship, and your question for the day to ask someone in particular that you do not know well. When you are practicing presence in this season, would you rather witness snow falling, a fire crackling, or a candle flickering? You can think deeply about that between now and after the service. There are listening devices and large print hymnals in the back. Please silence your cell phone if you have one. We have now some announcements.
Good morning, everyone. A few announcements I will go through quickly. It's always a good idea to read inside your first page of the order of service, where there's more information about most of the things I'm sharing and a few other things to call your attention to. I'm holding a poster here. This is in connection with the events that are happening here at South Church on New Year's Eve. We are having a benefit concert here in the sanctuary. We're calling it The Last Blast. We're doing it in collaboration with the Continuing Arts Collective, which is an organization that helps children all across the seacoast up into Maine get musical instruments and access to spaces to perform music and engage with music development. It's a really incredible nonprofit. This event is going to both benefit the Continuing Arts Collective and South Church, and we're hoping lots of people will come. And we have these posters, which we're also hoping folks might be willing to help us plaster all over town. So if you can grab a poster or two today and put it up somewhere that you go, a favorite coffee shop or wherever, and help us get the word out for that incredible fundraiser. That's on New Year's Eve night. Earlier that evening, we're having our annual chili sale. If you know, you know. We've been doing this for many years. We end up with about 40 pots of chili that are made by all of us. So if you are a chili maker or you want to try making chili, we're welcoming donations for chili, and then you're invited to come have chili dinner before the fireworks. So New Year's Eve night, here's your plan. You get up in the morning, relax, make some chili, bring it over to church around 4 o'clock, go for a walk, come back around 5:30, have a bowl of chili, go see some fireworks at 7, and then head right back here for some music at 8:30. Day planned. Okay. We are also looking for ushers for Christmas Eve, which is a really sweet time to have a job to do because you get to see everybody's faces. Dana is here, and you can talk to her during social hour. Dana, do you want to wave to folks? Right back in the back corner, you can talk to Dana about being an usher either on Christmas Eve or on a regular basis once a month starting in the new year. We're looking for people to join that team. There is a Vespers service happening on Wednesday the 18th here, a solstice Vespers service at 6:30, a really sweet way to mark the solstice. Again, that's Wednesday, December 18th. And today's the last day for making a donation to have someone memorialized in the Christmas Eve order of service. So if you have a loved one you'd like to be recognized, you can make a donation of any amount down at a table at social hour today, and their name will be included in our order of service that night. There is also some shopping to do downstairs. Our senior youth are selling candles made out of the recycled nubs from our prayer candles, and some ornaments and coffee and chocolate, great stocking stuffers. And there's also placemats being sold by a local Afghan family that will benefit them. They moved here to the States just a couple years ago. Lots going on. Thanks for your patience and listening.
Love has made We ignite this flame, the presence of light when it's dark outside, a flame of warmth when it's cold outside, a light of truth when truth is absent. May this flame reflect our presence, warmth, and authenticity with one another in this community of care. Let's light the chalice. We also light candles for Advent. Light now the Advent candle one, a single flame of hope, now shining bright. We light for this week candle 2, as love is bringing something new. Light now the Advent candle 3, and people happy songs employ. We light a pink one on this day to signify the light of joy. Now, please rise and join us in body and spirit in reciting our mission statement printed in the order of service. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Good morning. I will speak words today of finding joy in present moments. I have challenges with joy during the holiday season. As I look out at this sanctuary decorated in holiday green, I feel loss. The loss of not feeling the state of joyful happiness and Christmas spirit. Shouldn't I be happy and joyful this time of year, a time of Christmas lights, carols, Christmas giving, and presents, a time of remembering blissful childhood memories of Christmas Eves and days. I did not grow up with Christmas. I grew up Jewish on Long Island. All my friends were Jewish. For me and family, Christmas was a day that everything was closed. We had Hanukkah, a menorah of 8 lights. Nothing like the brightness of Christmas lights. Nothing like the joy and happiness depicted as Christmas. In my 20s, I made the decision to not be connected to any religion. Having strong thoughts about religion leading to many wars and deaths and genocide, the holidays became even more isolating. And then I married into Christmas. Well, I actually married Carol. My wife and partner for over 30 years, Carol, who along with many wonderful, beautiful qualities, had a strong family tradition of Christmas. She was not religious, but Christmas was important. Christmas trees, presents, stockings, holiday music, and travel to be with family. I was ready to finally experience the joyful bliss of the holidays. But despite me trying through the years, I never felt the full holiday spirit of joyful, happy bliss. Feeling out of sync during the holiday season, not even finding joy in singing Christmas carols, and you know I love singing. Where was the joy? And I asked myself, what is joy? Is it happiness? Is joy the opposite of sadness? Can one be sad and also have joy? Can one be in grief and still have joy? David Steinerrest is a Benediction monk who I heard interviewed. He speaks about joy and gratitude. He calls joy the happiness that doesn't depend on what happens. He speaks about joy in joyful moments. Now I've come to realize that I can experience and appreciate joy and not be in a blissful, happy state. That joy can occur in the present through these joyful moments, appreciating and recognizing these moments, whether I am happy or sad. The joyful moments of maybe a smile or a laugh or a connection with another, or even a small random act of kindness. Being brief present moment, maybe a song that touches the heart, or perhaps joyful moments of being present in this community. And possibly remembering joyful moments of family and friends, including those who have passed and who are absent, even though the grief of loss is still present. And so, it was just 1 week ago, for the first time ever, I did something that I've never done before during the holidays, something I avoided. I participated hanging the holiday greenery at this sanctuary. And then afterward, a potluck dinner with wonderful people of this community, and then singing Christmas carols together. And I found joy in these moments of the holiday tradition, the joy of being present, the joy of being together, enjoying these moments with others. And sometimes, when I need a joyful moment, singing the notes of Beethoven's Ode to Joy helps me. Well, just a few notes with UU words to share with you. I've never sung this out loud, but just a few lines. Sing of joy and presence now, sing of love inside our hearts, helping us to live our life, finding joyful moments. I hope we all find and appreciate joyful moments during the holiday season, especially during difficult times. May it be so. Now please rise and body of spirit to join singing with the choir in some joyful moments, singing the hymn, Walking With You Is My Prayer. Words are in the order of service. Jonny will be leading us.
Walking with... Sorry, I need that pitch again. That seems a little high. There we go. Sorry. Walking with you. Walking with you is my prayer. Walking with you. Walking with you is my prayer. Singing. Singing with you. Singing with you is my prayer. Breathing. Being. Being with you. Being with you is my prayer. Laughing. Laughing with you. Laughing with you is my prayer. Dancing. Dancing with you. Dancing with you is my prayer. Loving. Loving with you. Loving with you is my prayer.
If there is anyone who would like to come a little closer to hear a story, I wrote one special just for today. All right. Yay, look at all these great people up here. So, the story I have for us today is titled The Great Yule Goat. This is a story about a whole community of goats who lived in a magical place where goats can talk to each other and where they celebrate holidays and all kinds of other surprising things. Now, this story is actually specifically about one young goat named Yetost. That might sound like a strange name. Yetost, though, is a very common name among goats. It also happens to be the name of a Norwegian goat cheese, just by coincidence. So anyway, Yetost was a happy little goat, very kind, but Yetost was having a hard year. Yetost's best, favoritist, most loved friend, named Soul Patch, had moved away, and Yetost was devastated. Yetost and Soul Patch had played every day up until Soul Patch moved. And they loved each other. They had all kinds of jumps they did together, all kinds of special neighs that they made together. And after Soul Patch left, it felt like Yetost's happiness went with them. Yetost wasn't sleeping very well at night, and when they would wake up in the morning, it just seemed like there was a cloud following them around wherever they went. And to make things more complicated, it was the solstice season, and the goats had a lot of celebrating that happened during the solstice season. They had something called Yule Goat, and during Yule Goat, they did all kinds of celebrating. They would neigh like crazy, and they would leap around and play all kinds of goat games all day long. And then when they went to sleep at night, while they were sleeping, the great Yule Goat would come. They called the great Yule Goat Nanny Buck for short. And Nanny Buck would come, and as the goats were sleeping, Nanny Buck would leave little piles of soybeans and barley and oats scattered around in the straw for the goats to wake up to in the morning. It was a great holiday. Every one of the goats loved it. They neighed like crazy. Yetost was not feeling it. And Yetost, as I said, was a very kind goat, so Yetost didn't want to ruin anyone else's fun. And so Yetost made a plan. They said to themselves, I'm just going to stay out of the way. When something's happening, I'll pretend to join in, and then I'll just scooch back to the back and kind of fade into the background. And when there's games, I'll just wait for everybody to volunteer and kind of get myself out of sight. And that's what they tried to do. All morning, Yetost just kind of avoided all the things that were happening. And it was working for a while, they thought. And around noon, Yetost started to notice that they were feeling even sadder. Trying to avoid doing all the things and trying to stay out of sight was just making them sadder. So they snuck off to where they sleep, their own little bed of straw, and they laid down and they just said, I'm just going to sleep. I'm going to sleep the day away. And they didn't think anyone noticed, and that's what they did, and they closed their eyes and they were trying really hard to go to sleep. And then they heard a little scratching, and they opened their eyes, and Grandpa Bramble was right over Yetost. And he had a long beard that was tickling Yetost's nose. And Yetost looked at their grandpa, who they loved a lot, and Grandpa said, "What's up, kid?" Sometimes you crack yourself up writing stories. And Yetost looked at their grandpa, and all at once, everything came out. They started to cry, and they told their grandpa everything that was going on in their heart. They told them how sad they were feeling. They told Grandpa that they were trying not to ruin the holiday for everyone else, and they tried really hard to stay out of the way, but it just made them feel sadder, and they didn't know what to do, and so they just came here, and they just want to go to sleep, and they want it all to be over. And you know what Grandpa Bramble said? Well, "Well, that's just the silliest silly goat thing I've ever heard," he said. We don't care if you're not happy. We don't care if you're feeling sad. We just want to be with you. And you can come outside and feel as sad as you want. And I will just put my little goat body right next to yours and do what I can to make you feel loved. And if you want, you can come with me right now, and we'll go sit in the sun and chew our cud, because you know we are good at that, and watch everyone else as they celebrate Yule Goat. And Yetos looked at Grandpa Bramble and said, "That sounds just about perfect." And they went outside together, and Yetos was still feeling sad, but also a little bit of some other feelings. And they sat down together in the sunshine, and that warm sunshine on their goat faces felt so good. And they watched the other goats as they pranced and neighed and played games. And then something kind of magic happened. Yetos found themselves smiling, and even a little bit of giggle neighing, which is a thing goats do, and feeling just something in addition to the sadness in their heart. They still felt sad, but they also felt loved. And that is pretty much all any of us need. So that's our story. Thank you for listening to the... Oh wait, Yule Goat came that night. And Yule Goat left a special pile of oats and soy mixed together, because that was Yetos's favorite, right next to Yetos's head where they were sleeping. So that was a pretty cool thing, too, in the morning. We can go downstairs now.
During the month of December, our collection for the Offertory will be shared with Families First. Families First is part of a network of community health centers providing primary care, pediatrics, dental care, prenatal care, and centers for providing other services of income of all levels, insured or uninsured. They deliver innovative and compassionate health services and supports that are accessible to all. Families First is in Portsmouth, but I actually work in the Goodwin Community Health in Somersworth, and we're part of the same organization, and I'm a pediatrician at Goodwin. So let the offering begin. You also can make a donation or offering through the QR code in programs of service.
Now is a moment for shining on. It's all right to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is a moment for shining on. World needs our light more than ever. Now is a moment for singing out loud. It's all right to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is a moment for singing out loud. World needs our songs more than ever. And now is a moment to let fear go. It's all right to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is a moment to let fear go. World needs our courage more than ever. They need us to shine. We all need us to shine. And now is a moment for kindness. It's alright to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is a moment for kindness. World needs our warmth more than ever. And now is the moment for dancing. It's alright to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is a moment for dancing. The world needs your joy more than ever. They need us to shine. We all need us to shine. Now is a moment for open hearts. It's alright to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Now is the moment for joining hands. World needs our love more than ever. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here and those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Our theme this month is the practice of presence. And the question I'm holding is, how can practicing presence to life's challenges open us up to more joy? It is a theme I find myself coming back to again and again. And today, I want to share a short video by Francis Weller that speaks so eloquently to this question. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the first moves we have to make is to begin to feel that grief isn't here to take us hostage. It's we have so little faith in grief that it's a place safe enough to walk into. And I can tell you how often in my office, people say something like, well, when grief arrives in the door, they say, if I go there, I'm never coming back, This tremendous fear of grief. And they say, well, if you don't go there, you're never coming back. Because so much of our life force is locked up in the resistance to grief, the avoidance of grief. And there is no true happiness. There is certainly no true joy, I don't think, if we shut off the lower register of grief. I spent some time in West Africa in a little village, and there was a woman there, and I walked up to her and I just had to say, you have so much joy. And you know what her response was? Well, that's because I cry a lot. I mean, how un-American is that? I mean, not because I shop a lot or I've got a 401k plan. It had to do with her sorrow. That when that lower register is open, when we can drop into that and hear the resonant bell at that deep place, then the possibilities of hearing the joyful chorus join in, that becomes possible. But you can't have one without the other.
I invite us to gather our hearts and minds in a spirit of prayer or meditation, reflecting on some of these words. Grief isn't here to take us hostage. So much of energy is caught in the resistance to grief. People say of grief, if you go there, you're never coming back. But what if you can go there and come back with a little more of you? What if, in opening up to the lower registers of life, you find more depth, more love, more presence? What if you can go there for just a moment, a heartbeat, a breath? In this space all together, I invite you to bring some gentle presence to whatever is in you. Perhaps imagine what this room has held, can hold, holds now, of difficulty, of hardship, and of kindness and warmth. Take it in. Take it in. As the music continues, if you find yourself remembering a time when bringing your own presence to what's hard opened you to more joy, you could jot down a word or two about it on the green card as a reminder to what it feels like for yourself, or to offer up to help inspire others. Or, if you prefer, simply sit and take in the love that is in this room. The love that has graced this space over decades and centuries of people who have been present to so much, who have loved and carried one another, struggled, and sometimes found something beautiful in themselves or life that they could not or did not know was there. Let us reflect for a few moments. at our last worship associates meeting, Anna Howard mentioned that a friend of her asked her what services have been like here since the election. Here's what Anna told her. We go to church, we sit, and we cry. But then she also made this expression that only Anna can make, but it was something like this. That I interpreted to mean, maybe we shouldn't do only that and nothing else forever and ever and ever. Good point. A few days after that happened, I saw an article on NPR about the power of forcing a smile. Apparently, it makes you feel happier, which is a helpful tool perhaps when there's a lot going on that makes you want to only cry. Yet, somehow, reading that article did not make me feel happier. Because in spite of Anna's gentle suggestion that it's not that useful to cry all the time, and even though I have tried this smile upside down thing and it works, something in me resisted. It reminded me of another article from the New York Times about what it feels like to be told to smile. I'll summarize that article here. Not good. I thought of times in my life when I felt like I was supposed to smile all the time, and that didn't feel good. I thought of times I've walked into a room of smiling people and felt like there's something missing here. And I thought of times in my life when the expectation to look happy did not make me happy. It just left me feeling alone with the things that felt sad. I thought of how my habit of snapping myself out of emotional places keeps me from being as connected as I would like, not just from other people, but from more of life itself. But then, what do you do when things are genuinely hard, but you don't want to fall into depression and doom scrolling? And what do you do when life calls up fears of all the worst kinds of things and you want more than forced smiles and small talk? How do you navigate that path between denial and despair? Where is the joy, no matter what? I didn't really know, but what I decided to do was to go on retreat, which I had been planning for a while, part of a year-long spiritual exploration around how to be present to more of me and more of life. I found a Lithuanian monastery less than an hour from my house. I booked an overnight retreat just after Thanksgiving. And in the car driving up, I was thinking about you, and I was thinking about me. I was thinking about some of the things you have said to me about what this time is like, your fears of the worst, how hard it is to be present to what you're seeing and reading, not to mention all the other things that were already in the mix for each of you. And I was thinking about me and what does make it hard for me to be fully present to the moment or myself. Those parts under the surface that I'm not even always aware of, that get cranky or impatient or intolerant or fearful, that want to blame others and forget what I need to do. Parts that sometimes take me over, sometimes drain my energy, make me less effective than I would like in a world that needs wholeheartedness and conviction and courage. Under the surface, These parts are not always on board with that. I pulled up to my destination, put my bags away, and walked into the sanctuary on these monastery grounds, where I encountered a set of panels, starkly carved. It was the story of the last hours of Jesus' life, a story that has a particular weight and meaning in the Christian tradition, but in that moment it felt like I was looking at the faces, the expressions of anyone or everyone, at the roles anyone might play in life, the denials, the betrayals, the fear, the weight, the struggle, the sacrifice. I saw the Gazan senior doctor who I'd read was killed recently as I looked at those panels. I saw the political figures of our time in that story. And I saw myself in it too. Times I have stood up in life and times when I did not. Times when I denied. And times when I leaned in. Times when I felt betrayed. And times when others may have felt betrayed by me. And then, gazing at those panels, in the middle of it all, there is this story of boundless love for everyone in every role. There's this person in this story with this clear-eyed commitment to something bigger than any part of that awfulness, bigger even than this story portrayed of the very worst. Later that night, after a meal and a walk around the grounds, I came back to the chapel for a prayer service. There were a few people scattered in the pews, a couple sitting shoulder to shoulder, a single woman in the front, 5 brothers from the monastery wearing their brown robes sitting all the way near the back. One of them gently handed me a booklet, and we began. Everyone there knew the prayers by heart. Traditional Catholic words that may be familiar to some of you. But as I took them in, one after the other, they began to feel like a chant, a rhythm, tonal, musical. A few words stood out, like mercy and wholeheartedness. And phrases like, be with me in the darkest hour. And mercy and grace and be with me in this. And Lamb of God and sins of the world. As I listened, the lower registers in me started bubbling up. All the failings and misses and the longings and all the things that do not feel right in me or around me. I saw my failings and the perceived failings of others, my fears and the fears I've heard from others, all the things that are collectively not right. And then also what I was hearing in these prayers, love, here, have mercy on us. Mercy for me and for them. And grace, be with me now. Grace, be with all of us. And the thoughts and the feelings and the words flowed together and washed over me and through me and fell into me. And in that space together, something began to melt. Forgiveness, grace, mercy. Forgiveness, mercy, grace. mercy, grace, forgiveness. In the face of everything, Jesus forgave them all. By the end, that worst of the worst felt a little less low somehow, maybe a little less lonely. Like the worst now had more presence in it, compassion around it, like someone had gone there with me. To me, this is part of what the Christian story is about, and really what the best of any religious faith is for: to bring compassionate presence to what is not right, to the kind of fear-based aggression that catches people in its web, and bringing such wise and loving presence to it that it begins to change. By the end of my time there, I felt just a little more able to be present to everything, including myself. Now, you may be wondering how I'm going to get from here to the joy part of this sermon, which you've been waiting for. I was wondering too. Luckily, when I came home, I saw an email in my inbox pointing me to a New Yorker interview by David Remnick with Sarah McBride, the first trans woman ever to be elected to the House of Representatives. Her story so inspired me. Though that interview also did not begin with joy. It began with aggression. A bathroom bill for Congress timed to coincide with Sarah's start date, directed pointedly at her. A gesture, interviewer Remnick suggests, of deep disrespect. And while Remnick asks her twice in this interview, "Doesn't this hurt you?" McBride consistently answers with poise. She refused to take the bait and told the House Speaker she would simply follow the rules. By turning the other cheek, she said, "I'm maintaining my power and focusing on the work I promised to do here." She talks about some of the pro-human measures she's helped pass in her home state. She talks elegantly about the Trans 101 spot this country is still in and what it will take to change. As she talked, I wondered what it is like to be a first and how she responds with such grace in the midst of such vitriolic time of attacks. The interviewer wondered too and asked. Here's how she responded. "Early in my career," she said, "I experienced intense online bullying that nearly broke me. I sought understanding and came to see that bullies often act from a place of insecurity or pain. Recognizing their humanity helped me to develop compassion and find grace, even when facing cruelty." She goes on to speak of dealing with death threats from the start of her career, of acting despite the fear that almost stopped her from running, of working across divides with colleagues who hold hurtful beliefs and seeing the humanity in others even when their views cause personal pain. And she talks of being in that historic hall where Lincoln served, where the 13th and 14th and Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act were passed. And she speaks eloquently of our challenges, but also, as she said, the history that shows past generations overcoming much greater odds. They persevered, she said, and so must we. As she speaks, I hear her passion and her clear-eyed commitment to something much, much bigger than the worst she was invited into. I hear her bringing compassionate presence to what is not right, to fear-based aggression that catches people in its web, and bringing such wise and loving presence to it that it can begin to change. And that brings me joy. And I believe everyone can be part of that story. Anyone can bring presence to fear-based thinking or pain in order that we, any of us, might align with something bigger, higher, better, fuller. And every time we do this, I believe, something transforms. And there is a little bit less pain, and there is a little bit more room for joy. Being present to one another in it helps us do it. Which is why I am so grateful to those of you who shared your stories with me. So many of you, I will post these downstairs, about time when you brought presence to something hard in your life and it opened you to the higher registers that are possible. I can only call these a gift from the heart, from one to another. I wish I had time to share more than a few, but I will post the rest, as I say, on the bulletin board downstairs. I didn't ask if I could include names, so I will share these anonymously for now. Here's the first one. After the death of a cherished friend, I began daily Ignatian practice called the Examen. The practice helped me notice the fullness of my life, not only the grief and how it was working in me and shaping me, but also the myriad beauties, mercies, and mysteries that surround my pain with solace and healing love. This life-giving practice grounds and surprises me and keeps me connected to the God of my understanding. My cancer diagnosis surprised and scared me, but it beefed up my meditation practice and sense of gratitude for life, which I expanded by journaling. Spending time in nature helped me through difficult periods of treatments and their aftermaths. With mortality hovering closer, the profusion of life in nature seemed even more miraculous, a divine gift. I felt part of it. And then it seems so simple, but I always return to my breath. When I'm feeling an emotion that feels unbearable, I focus on my breath. I feel it bringing life into me. I feel the gratitude that fills my heart with each breath and with each exhalation. I feel myself relax and find my core of strength. I have used this often over the course of the last few years, especially while my mother was dying. It helped me stay present to her and to those around me. And amazingly, there was an explosion of joy after her death. I find it hard to describe, but after her death, I became acutely aware of seeing out of my eyes. Everything was so clear and crisp in a way I have never experienced. A veil had been lifted, and there was so much joy in being alive, in being with others. Now is the moment for shining bright. It's all right to cry. Keep your eyes on the prize. Amen. Let us join in our closing hymn, It's number 398. Please rise in body or in spirit. No, it's not 398. It's 389. Nope. Within, let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
After our closing words and the postlude, I invite you to greet your neighbor, and particularly to ask someone you don't know well whether they prefer the sparkle of a candle, the smell of the snow falling. Oh, just talk about something that means a lot to you in this season. As we leave this space of reflection and connection, may we carry with us the wisdom of presence, to meet pain with compassion, joy with gratitude, and find the courage to bring our full selves to life's unfolding. Go forth in love, transforming the worlds, one moment at a time.
Let your soul's light shine so brightly. bright light, won't you? Shine up your bright light, won't you? Shine up your bright light, won't you? Shine up your bright light. Everybody's got a little light to shine. Everybody's got a little light to shine. Shine up your bright light. Everybody's got a little light to shine. Everybody's got a little light so brightly. Everybody's got a light shine so brightly. We all can find our way home. Shine up your bright light. Everybody's got a light shine so brightly. Everybody's got a light shine so brightly. Everybody's got a light shine so brightly. And we all can find our way home. Find our way home. We can find a way. We can find a way. You know, my friends, we got to light up the night. Find our way home. We can find a way. We can find a way. Somehow it's all gonna be all right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Everybody's got a little light so brightly. Everybody's got a little light so brightly. And we all can find our way home. Find our way home. We can find a way. We can find a way. You know, my friends, we got to light up the night. Find our way home. We can find a way. We can find a way. Somehow it's all gonna be all right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. Let your soul's light shine so brightly. And we all can find our way home. Shine up your bright